Welcome to this edition of the BRSN Insider. I'm sitting out with head baseball coach Eric Peterson. Coach, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate you.
You guys, you've been on campus now for better part of half of the year. So how have you adjusted to campus so far?
Oh, well, it's a great campus and inviting people. They treat you first class. It's easy to adjust to a place like this. It's very welcoming. My staff is all new, so to bring us in as one of their families, it's been a great transition.
And you mentioned your staff. Go ahead and talk about the two guys on your staff right now.
Yeah, Landon Hay is our recruiting coordinator. He works with our hitters and infielders. And Alex Stillwell is our pitching coach, and obviously he works with our pitchers. I've known both for a long time, so it's an easy transition.
Okay, well, just season preview. I know you guys have played already. We'll talk a little bit about what you saw coming into the year. Who are some of the key guys you have coming back?
Well, Michael Slayton is obviously one that we're going to count on to do some special things for us. Yeah. We're moving him to the outfield, let him be more athletic, run around. He has arm strength that can cover some ground.
Yeah.
Daryl Myers is our staple at shortstop. Yeah. Pavlik is a good hitter for us, but we're expecting some things from guys like Logan Finley. Let's see, Brennan Glock, Richards, those type of guys.
Yes. Who are some of the guys you brought in? I know you probably didn't get a whole lot to do recruiting-wise, but what are some of the guys you brought in?
Yeah, well, I got to pay a compliment to the last coaching staff. They did a really good job of bringing in quality kids.
Yeah.
And that's the number one thing. That's what this school's all about first, is bringing in good people. Some of those highlights would be the Piontek brothers. There's good people, and Jordan Williams. Favaza has been a good addition. Yeah. But to single out those guys would probably be unfair of me. There's a whole group of guys here that have done some nice things for us so far.
What were your expectations going into your first year?
Well, we didn't really have any. We wanted to establish the culture that this coaching staff wanted to basically set for the forefront, right, and for the long haul. So our expectations were non-existent, really. We wanted to show us what you could do, you know. Show us what these guys were about. We didn't know any of these guys coming in, and we were actually okay with that.
You got your first 2 wins down at Southwestern. That 30-7 game. Talk us through that game, because I've been here 4 years and I've never seen that run total.
Well, it's obviously we're seeing the ball pretty well. Yeah. In the way that we play, we're super aggressive. We take the next bag, and you come up in your first game, you're pretty excited. Yeah. And you got delayed in the first one, canceled in the first day, and you just want to get out there. We've worked so hard in the fall, and to put something like that together, it's good. And you knew the second game was going to be tight. And we had to be ready to play for that. And honestly, I was more impressed with how we played and our composure in the second game than it's easy to win when it's 30-7.
So that second game was a lot more of a grinded out type game than a 3-2 win. What were some of the things you saw that impressed you?
Well, we competed. We competed, and we responded. We knew it was going to be a challenge. We knew they weren't going to lay down in that second game. We made some plays that we made in the fall that we practiced. And, Pavlik made a game-winning play that we call a Freedom Friday play, where you can't win a game without making a normal play, right? And he made a plus play in right field and saved the game for us. But we had some clutch performances on the mound. Miller was really good. Honkhammer was really good. Jacob Slayton was really good. It takes a lot of guys to win a game like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for me, that's probably my most memorable win in a short season so far. But it just showed the toughness of these guys.
Then you came home, got your home opener, you split against Doane, lost the first one, won the second one. Talk about the adjustment from game 1 to game 2.
Sure. Well, we didn't expect to win all 55 this year.
Oh, yeah.
Baseball's a tough sport, right? And you catch Doane in kind of a situation like we were at, opening up at Southwestern. They're excited to get on a field and play. And, we got punched in the mouth in the first game. But we fought all game. A couple of things didn't go our way, but we were ready to play the next game. And really that shows what kind of toughness the team has, what kind of resiliency. And we came out and we were ready to play game 2.
In game 2, I know you're a pitching guy, so that lot of runs kind of I guess pitching may be one of the things you guys want to work on going forward.
Sure. We talk about taking the stairs, right? And we don't want to be playing at a high level right now, right? We want to be playing a high level and trying to win our conference tournament, right? And getting to a regional play and that type of thing. But we know it's a process, right? We thought that we would be able to hit a little bit. 30 runs probably set the bar high. But, man, they've been impressive. Our approaches offensively have been impressive, but I think they've been able to give the freedom to work counts, right?
Yeah.
They're not limited in what they can do. They're pushed. They're asked to take the next bag. They don't get in trouble for being aggressive, right? We encourage that. It's something we worked on all fall, right? We encouraged failure. We encouraged to test the limits, and I think really it's just coming to fruition right now.
And you guys got a 7-3 win over Morningside. The second game had to be postponed due to weather and things like that, but that game really looked like it changed once you guys got their starter out of the game.
Sure. Well, and right now we're struggling with left-handed pitchers, so I guess if you want a scouting report on us, let's throw left-handers at us. But we just battle. That's what we do. We don't get panicked. We don't quit, right? Our fifth inning, we've scored something like 30-something runs in the fifth inning. We just wait guys out. We're a tough lineup to pitch to. And I think our pitchers are figuring out if we can limit to one, we can limit the big innings, right? Yeah. And keep it early in the game, we got a chance to come back.
You guys had to make a schedule change this upcoming weekend. Unfortunately, there's 5 inches of snow on the ground outside right now, but talk about the schedule change you guys made.
Well, I got to put a lot of, pay a huge compliment to our assistants. Alex and Lana have been great in trying to find us a place to play this weekend. Unfortunately, we get to go to my alma mater and play at Pitt State. We'll play a single 9 at 6 p.m. on Sunday night, and then a doubleheader starting at 10 a.m. We're so grateful to Pitt State and what they've allowed us to do, and obviously my administration is fantastic. You guys are great to allow us to even go down there. The administration and the professors and the teachers to allow us to miss some class on Monday. That's a big compliment to them and what we're trying to do as well.
All right, Coach, thank you very much. Best of luck to you this weekend.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. Go Reds.
Benedictine College baseball coach Eric Peterson on the BRSN Insider.
A wise man once said, "The world offers you comfort, but you were not made for comfort. You were made for greatness." Discover what you were made for. Benedictine College, where greatness begins.
Back on the BRSN Insider, I'm sitting down with head softball coach Paul Hunt. Coach, thank you for joining us.
Dakota, thanks for having me.
You guys, we'll do a season preview here real quick. You guys have already played down in Arkansas, but talk about some of the key players that you have coming back this year.
Sure, we're really spoiled this year as we have everybody returned back from last year. Yeah. So, we've really expect a lot out of a lot of our seniors are going to be big for us this year. Regina Splain, we expect a lot out of. Tiffany Ray is going to do a nice job for us over at first base. Lily Ross up the middle. And then both Alex Burris and Sarah Methan kind of sewing up our outfield. Yeah. We expect to get a lot more run production. That's kind of been the name of our off season, is really getting a little bit more explosive at the plate. And I really feel like our power numbers are going to increase quite a bit this year, mainly from that core group.
And you use a good recruiting class coming in. Talk about some of the key newcomers that are going to make an impact.
Absolutely. We're really excited about this freshman class. Megan Krantz, I think, is going to have a great year. She's going to play some third base for us. She's going to DP a little bit for us. We expect her to be kind of in the middle of our order and really be a big contributor. Megan Metis, who's a catcher from Colorado, we really, really expect big things from her through her career, and she's going to step in, and we've got her splitting games right away with Regina behind the plate. Yeah. And now we're kind of waiting on Brianna Hoffman. Had a little ACL sprain. She's going to be back sometime early mid-March, and we're really excited to get her back on the mound. She's going to compete for that 1-2 spot in our rotation.
What were your guys' expectations heading into this year?
Really this year the motive has always been, hey, we're gonna keep progressing and build off of last year. We tied the most wins in program history in year one. This year it's, hey, we want to get above that mark and really get into that midst of the conference. Last year we kind of finished at that bottom third of it, and we really feel like, looking at a lot of one-run losses and a lot of young losses. Yeah. That we really feel like this year turning some of those one-run losses into wins is really going to put us in a good spot when we go into conference tournament.
What were some of the things? This is your second full year on campus, what are some of the things you learned in year one that are going to help you this year?
I think the biggest adjustment was really just figuring out, hey, how do we schedule? Coming from the JUCO world where regulations are almost non-existent, and practice schedule might have been at 4 a.m. and it might have been at midnight. So now really just trying to fit everything in and work around some schedules of some kids that have some really ambitious academic goals that we really want to help them achieve those goals as well. So that was really eye-opening in year one. And right now it's still the same game. Yeah. So, trying to help players understand, hey, we want to keep everything as simple as possible. Go out and execute what your job is, and that helps a ton.
We'll talk about your 4 games down in Arkansas. We'll just split it between both days. You played Oklahoma Westland and then number 1 Oklahoma City. You dropped both of those games. What were some of the things you saw in those first 2 games?
Really getting forced to be inside this winter has just been absolutely crazy. Yeah. That showed a lot in day one. We had a lot of ground balls that I have a lot of confidence in our infield. I think we're going to be a very strong defensive team. Yeah. Where balls off the bat just weren't read really crisp and really clean. And nothing against Oklahoma Westland, but I really feel like we kind of gave that game to them. We got out to an early 6-0 lead. We're not going to lose ball games like that throughout the year. Yeah. And, hats off. Oklahoma City is number 1 in the country for a reason. Through my career, I've been very fortunate to coach against, Big 10, Big 12 teams. They can hit with any team I've ever coached against. Yeah. Really, really strong program. Really amazed by what they've been able to accomplish there.
And then you went back the second day. You beat Friends in 5 innings. I'm sure that first win felt good.
It really did. We felt like leaving day one, we really should have been 1-1 after day one. So to come out and just kind of get some of those nerves off, and can't say enough about Alex Gillum's performance. She really threw well all weekend when she had opportunities for us. So.
And then the tough 11-9 loss in extras to Ottawa. What were some of the key moments in that game?
It came back, and I hate to just falling back on this crutch because, we talk a lot inside of the program of not using any excuses, but it became very obvious that we hadn't been outside. Yeah. I felt like we left 3 or 4 runs on the table, especially late. I mean, we had 2 innings with leaving the bases loaded, things we need to capitalize on, and a couple of base running mistakes that were also just misreads of things you can't work on inside. Yeah. So it was a really disappointing loss, and really honestly, the weekend being 1-3 instead of 3-1 is really, really disappointing for us. Yeah. But I'm really optimistic about this group. The things that we have been able to work on. I thought our pitchers threw really, really well. They executed really, really well. And, our hitters that have had a lot of live at-bats stepped in, and they were swinging it really well, seeing the ball really, really well. And, we plan to keep that train rolling.
So you've already talked a lot about the weather, but the weather has really been a deterrent to you guys so far because you haven't been able to get outside and do things. What are some of the biggest differences from inside and outside practice for you guys?
The biggest thing for us is seeing the ball off the bat. We're really blessed here to have great facilities at Benedictine, our indoor facilities at true beaded turf. So getting a true ground ball hop, we're going to get as much of a true ground ball hop as you're going to have off a turf, whether we're inside or outside. Yeah. But it's still a turf ground ball, and it kind of has that big second hop. Yeah. So that really deters it. The other side of it is just seeing the field as a whole and running a true 60-foot bases. And when we do situational work inside here, we got to get a little bit creative. We got to kind of divide the field up and work in sections. Yeah. So I'd say that's the biggest side of it. And not only that, but when we've gotten outside this year, we've had 3 practices on a lacrosse field, a practice on a football field, and a portion of using a small part of our infield dirt for one day. So really excited for this weather to start looking a little more normal and moving forward.
You guys had to cancel one set, postpone a set this weekend. So now your next games or your spring break trip down in Arizona. Talk about that trip, and I know it's 10 games in 5 days.
Yeah, we take that trip every year. We're looking to go somewhere, somewhere warm, and the big thing about that is we want to guarantee we're going somewhere we're going to get games in.
Yeah.
Early on, it's really nice before we see conference to really get a good feel for what this group is, and positions that still have battles to kind of give them chances to compete that out, which we're really fortunate right now. We look at our infield, and we're going to be playing with the Rubik's Cube, I think, for the first couple of weeks because we have so many great options, and to let them compete that out. But the biggest thing I think we get out of that trip is we get a bond through that team that is so important. We go and we spend the week together. If you spend a full week with nothing but teammates, it's inevitably you're going to get closer. Absolutely. And we're really excited about that trip. Really excited this year. We switched the Cocoa Beach trip this year to Tucson, Arizona, with the thought process of the competition should be a little bit tougher. And we want to leave that trip feeling like we're really prepared. We're spoiled a little bit in the heart as every day we go compete. It's strong enough competition. Anybody can beat you. We can beat anybody inside of the heart. And we want to face that same type of competition early to be prepared for it.
All right, Coach. Thank you very much, and best of luck to you.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Paul Hunt, softball coach here at Benedictine on the BRSN Insider.
A wise man once said, "The world offers you comfort, but you were not made for comfort. You were made for greatness." Discover what you were made for. Benedictine College, where greatness begins.
Back on the BRSN Insider, I'm second down director of cross country and track and field, Henry Brun. Coach, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
You guys competed at conference last week. Men got 4th, women got 2nd. Talk about what you saw from the men.
From the men's side, they improved on last year's performance. Last year we finished 5th. In the last 4 years, we've gone 7th, 6th, 5th, and now 4th. So we continue to move up the conference rankings, which is good. And we scored 20 more points at the conference meet than we did this time last year, which was great. It was a full team effort. We had a lot of really good performances from our throwers. Our distance runners did what they needed to do. Some sprinters did what they needed to do to score some points. We kind of left some out on the table there. But we came up just short of a top 3 finish by about 15 points. Either way, it was really impressive for them that weekend.
And John Danner came out. He won the mile. Talk about how he's done this year. I mean, he won the mile and run it up in the 8, correct?
Yeah, so he won the mile, and he ran it just fast enough to win. He would think he won it with a 4:24, 4:25. He could easily go about 4:15 right now. So he ran the race to win. The day before, he anchored our 4x800 relay that finished runner-up at the conference meet, but we hit the NAI qualifying standard for nationals, and we're ranked 8th going into that. And he had the fastest split out of everyone in the relay, every team that raced. He got runner-up in the 800 just by a small margin, but then he actually anchored the DMR relay with the mile and came back with another 4:25, and they won that DMR relay. And he's kind of been that backbone of the distance program this year.
That relay, who was all on that relay and who?
Liam Keating was on that relay. He led off. He's a sophomore for us, and he came in. He actually placed top 8 in the mile earlier in the day. So his momentum, we kind of put him in the relay from that. Our 400 leg was Colton Edelin. He's a junior nursing major for us. And then the 800 leg was Liam Morrell, and he was the former school record holder in the 800 until JD broke that record that day. Then JD anchored it off and brought us home.
And the women, 2nd place, came up just short to MNU.
Yeah, we're getting closer. We had a lot of really good performances on the women's side. We started off the weekend really well. Our women's team won the 4x800 relay, and they qualified for nationals as well, which is very impressive for them. The pentathlon was a little shaky. Maddie ended up pulling out the win, but Shelly got injured during the pentathlon, and she was supposed to be the projected runner-up. She ended up finishing 8th. And then Camille's projected to finish 4th, and she finished 5th, but she got injured in the process. So Shelly and Camille were not able to do what they needed to do the next day to help score some points for us, which probably was the difference maker, but at least they came out of it all right. On day 2, we did really well. We improved in a lot of different areas. I didn't think that based on what the season looked like, I didn't know that we'd be able to perform as well as we did, which was really exciting. Sarah Lucas was the highlight. She was ranked 5th or 6th in the conference. She finished as conference runner-up in the triple jump. In the process, she hit the national qualifying standard in triple jump, which was exciting for her. Talia Rawls was big in the 200. She dropped another 3 or 4 tenths of a second in that and scored some quality points. And our workhorse of the weekend was Melanie Cozy, outside of Maddie out there working out, getting points, because Melanie ended up being the anchor leg of the winning 4x8 on day 1. She won the mile in 5:19 on day 2, and then she pulled out the win in the 3K later in that day on day 2 as well. So she ended up being a 3-event champion.
Talk about how difficult it is to run the mile and the 3K in the same day.
It's pretty tough. For them, I think they run the mile earlier in the day, and they get a few hours in between. But it probably wasn't as tough for Mel as it was for a lot of the girls from MNU, Central Methodist, and Baker, because they ran the 5K the day before. And they probably ran the mile earlier in the day on day 2, along with the 1,000 meters before they even got to the 3K. The 3K, it's the third to last event of the meet. Everyone's been exhausted, whether they've been competing or cheering for 2 days straight. And just kind of putting it all out there. It was fun to watch her go out there and get the win.
You guys got a chance to do some last chance qualifiers. Talk about how those went for you guys.
So we went to 3 different national qualifying meets to try to get some marks in. And the big one that we went to, the majority of the athletes went to Mizzou. And the day actually went fairly well. It started off with Eric Renier, a sophomore on the team. He qualified for nationals in the weight throw. He had an improvement by about 5 to 6 feet in the weight throw that day. So he moved from not even being a qualifier to being top 16 in the country in one day. And for the season, he improved by 5.5 meters so far.
Oh, wow.
So he's on his way to potentially being a top 8 finisher next week at nationals. Jamin Jones, who also is a wide receiver for the football team, he joined us about 4 weeks ago, and he picked up triple jump. He hadn't triple jumped in a number of years since high school. In 3 weeks, we improved his personal best from about 42, 43 in high school. He went 46.6 this past weekend and qualified for nationals. And he's about 1.5 feet away from maybe getting on a podium as well next week, which is exciting. Jarrell Rawls fell just short in the 200, but in the process he broke a 9-year-old school record in the 200, which was really nice. And our women's 4x4 were 0.43 seconds from qualifying in the relay, with 3 freshmen and a junior.
Oh, wow.
So it was really exciting to watch them finish the day off for us. And it was just fun to watch from beginning to end. Now at K-State, we sent JD to go run another 1,000 just to get one in before nationals. He's only run 1 this season. And he hit the national qualifying mark again. Just felt good about going next week. And then Melanie, we sent down to run the 1,000 because at KU a month ago, she ran 3:07, and you have to go under 3:04 to qualify. And we said, we'll give it a shot. You're a sophomore. We'll see what we can do. So we brought Claire Zerbnicki to go with her to pace her through the first 600 and then to drop off. And she actually ended up running a 3:02.09, so she dropped 5 seconds from the month before, and she's sitting 14th in the country in the 1,000 meters and has a legitimate shot. If she drops about 1.5 more seconds, she could be top 8 at the national meet next week. And then the third one, we went to Central Missouri and sent Alex Stenberg, our senior pole vaulter, to see if she could break the school record. And she fell just short, but she had some good attempts. So it was a big for us.
You guys get to go to nationals next week. Talk about the schedule for you guys.
So nationals will be a lot busier than last year. Last year we only brought 2 athletes to the meet, and we were pretty much done competing midway through the second day. We have 14 athletes going in 11 different events. So we're going to be starting at noon on Thursday, and we won't be done until 3 or 4 on Saturday. And the multis start with Jeremiah and Shelly and Maddie in the multis on day 1 through day 2. And the 4x8 relays are on Thursday, and the finals are on Friday. And I think our men have a legitimate shot of being about top 5 in the country on that, which is great. And then there's some triple jump on Saturday. The weight throws on Friday. We've got the open thousands on Friday and Saturday, and then Maddie's in the hurdles on Friday and Saturday, and Shelly's in the high jump on Saturday. So we're competing nonstop for about 3 days straight with the 14 that we're bringing.
All right, Coach. Well, best of luck to you next week.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you.
Director of Cross Country and Track and Field, Henry Brun on the BRSN Insider.